Hi, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Thank you. Today, we're going to talk about dating again or not. Because there's a lot of us single older people out there, and I just want to see where you are and what you think about dating again. So, we're going to go through some of the ways to date and then and what our expectations might be, and then at the end of the video we'll kind of wrap it all up and give you some tips basically on what how to go about this. um, so let's get started and see where we land on this one. Okay, so I look at it that, at 60s, 70s, even 80s, if you're single and you want to date again with or without apps, I mean, because there are those dating apps out there, and I don't know how everyone feels about those. I tried doing the apps probably like 15 years ago, and I dated a lot off of there, but it just I never found anyone I was really connected with, so I kind of let it go. Will I try it again? I don't know. I'd rather not, but I might. I'm not going to never say never, so I'm not going to do that. But if you wanted to use the apps, what happens? I mean, what do you see? And I can only give you my experience of what I saw. So, you have to go in there. You have to create a profile. You have to tell your interests and what you like and what you don't like. So that prospective daters that look at you might be interested in what you are looking for, what you like or what you don't like. My thing with the pictures that you see is there were quite a few, and I am only talking on the male part of it because I was looking, of course, for a new man in my life. And you're talking still like 15 years ago. So what am I, 55 then? And what I was surprised at is how many pictures on each profile were when they were in their 20s or their 30s. I put my pictures that are on my dating site, they were always current and only current pictures, because I want you to decide whether you like me the way I look now, not the way I looked before, because who cares what I like before? I'm never going to go back to that look. So why bother? So what happens when you find a connection? All right, so then you text back and forth for a little bit, um, and maybe talk on the phone to see if you can do that comfortably, and then you set up a safe meeting spot to meet. And in my case now at 70, I would want to meet someone during the day and maybe at a coffee shop or something like that. Back when I was 55 or whatever, I would have said, let's just meet for a drink or something. But nowadays, I wouldn't do that because I'd rather just go during the day. And it's okay if you don't like that person. I mean, there were many I didn't, like, but I was very gracious and very nice when I was on the date with them. I just, said at the end of the date that I wasn't going to be interested any further, and I had that happen to me too. And it's okay. I mean, that's the one thing you have to understand is you can't, nothing's personal there. So, don't let it become a rejection or anything, because it's not. It's just, you only have 15, 20 minutes or maybe an hour on a date to decide. And sometimes, the first second you see a person, especially if they don't look like their pictures. See, that turns me off right away. If they don't look like their pictures when I see them, There's been some times that I just went up and said, no, because I don't trust someone right off the bat. And I look for red flags. So, you got to remember, we're not looking for a soulmate. Well, I mean, great. It would be so nice if that would happen. But we just like a decent lunch companion or a dinner companion, someone that you could invite to a party or an event with you. Um, Maybe some of you are looking at, wouldn't it be great to get married again? Uh, I don't know if I could say that, but I'm not saying that I would roll it out either. I don't know. I mean, I could fall in love right away too, just like any of you could. So let me know if this makes a difference to you. If now that we're a little bit older, do health issues make a difference nowadays? Is that something that um, you're willing to ask your date? Maybe not the first date, of course, because you don't even know if you're going to have a second date. But if you continue to date, would that be something that would make a difference with you? And if you're nervous, it's okay. We all get nervous. Just remember that you're older, wiser, and better able to shrug your shoulders now if it doesn't work out. And even if it does, you can still shrug your shoulders. Meeting an older person is different, from when we were younger. We're not bikini ready anymore. Men's muscles have disappeared. Some of us have put on a few more pounds than we would like to, or what we looked like, even 10 years ago. So you don't need to be nervous. We all are uncomfortable with some aspect of ourselves, I'm sure. And if you're not, that's all the better. So my thing, I think the best connections is when you just have something about that person gives you a curiosity feeling, like you're curious in this person, you're interested in them and what they do, or just even the way they talk, or their conversation, and you want to get to know this person better. So that's when I find the interest, if you do date someone. So where do you stand? Do you want to start dating again or not? I mean, why not try the dating apps? It doesn't matter. They have them out there for all ages. So it doesn't really matter how old you are. But I do want to give you 4 tips that I'd like you to consider when you use these dating apps. If you don't seem to have anything in common with this person, when you meet them, it's okay to move on. Just, you don't have to feel guilty about telling them you're not interested. You don't have to give them a reason. It's okay to just move on. Number 2 is look for those red flags. If there's any red flags out there of something that you personally do not like, make sure that you respond to those and end it. Be done. 3, try to meet as quickly as possible. Don't let the texting or the phone calls go on for a month or two, because if they're really interested in dating like you are, they're going to have to figure out a way of planning it into their lives just like you are, because we all know this is work to do this again now. So uh, always try to meet as quickly as possible, and don't fall for a scam. If they always have an excuse on why they can't meet, move on, block the person, or tell them that's it. You don't even care to meet them now. Whatever. Don't fall for the scams. And 4, never ever give anyone money that you have just met. You have no history with this person. You have no relationship with this person. You don't know this person. And Honestly, if they're asking you for money on the first couple of dates, telling you, say, their car broke down or whatever, and they just need a couple $100 to fix it, you may have that money, but say no. Just say no. Do not give anyone money for any reason. You don't know this person. I would even give money until, geez, I don't know if I would, but you'd have to have a pretty strong relationship, and that can take, excuse me, 6 months to a year. Excuse me. So definitely no money. No money should exchange hands. No cash given. Uh, if you strike up a conversation with a stranger and not use the apps, maybe do that in a public place, or Home Depot. um, you see a lady in there and you're interested, or I see a man in there, I might try and ask him a question or something. There's only so many public places you can go to. However, if you are really interested in what's available in the town that you live in or the city you live in, I brought up my video on Chat GPT. Go on Chat GPT. My friend and I actually did this, and she did it on her computer and was asking questions in where I lived. Um, and there were a lot of suggestions on where and what I could do. So you might have to resort to uh, Chat GPT because it does have a lot of information. I was surprised. So the important thing to determine is if you're mentally at a place where you're open to putting the work into meeting someone. Because when you've been single for a long time, it is work. You just think you can't fit something like this in right now. It's basically you don't want to. You have routines. You don't want to change everything up. But if you are interested, you're going to have to be open to change. And if you are open, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and sign up for a dating app, or visit local places to meet people. If you have one of those downtown areas where you can walk around, maybe sit on a bench with a cup of coffee, you can do that. Or try going out to dinner alone. But don't eat at a table. Go and eat up at the bar area, because the bar area, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to drink. You don't, if you're not a drinker, you don't have to get a drink. Get a glass of water. Um, but when you sit at a bar like that, it kind of is a place for conversation, and so a conversation could get struck up. You could strike a conversation up because it's kind of the principle of a bar area. So, try and go out, like, every Thursday night or every Friday night. And if and hardly anybody is there, go out on a Saturday night or a Sunday night. Find the night that it seems like there are a lot of people. And I'm talking about people our age or around our age, and sit down and maybe have a conversation with one or two. Once you go, and maybe other people have noticed you, so then they start going that night because they know you're there. That's why I say pick a night and kind of stick with it. And they know you go every Thursday night, then uh, they'll start coming, and maybe it's somebody that interests you, and they're interested in you. So keep that in mind. But stay tuned for my next video. My next video is going to be, something along the lines of, I've been single so long. What if I don't know how to share? I mean, that may be a big thing. We may not be able to want to share any of the life that we have created for ourselves. So until the next one, bye.